Hey guys, I'm your host Doc D, and we have to talk about the OG Anunoby trade that just happened. JD's not here today, but we're still running that intro. Hey guys, it's me, Doc D. You were either listening or watching to the Full Court Press podcast. By the way, Happy New Year. Thank you so much for our subscribers. This year has been fantastic for us. We've almost reached 300. That's a huge milestone for us. And we just want to thank you guys so much. The channel doesn't grow without you. I try to say this every single video. We love the likes. Please subscribe. Please comment. We know that you guys are passionate fans just like us. So that's why you watch the videos, right? That's why you comment, right? So let's get into this, man. Okay, so this trade went down yesterday. I was having some major issues with my computer. I tried to make this video, so I apologize. It's a little late, behind the 8 ball. But OG Anunoby, Malachi Flynn, and Precious Achua, are now going to be playing in New York Knicks uniforms. And RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, and a 2024 second rounder out the door. This one really caught me off guard. So let's kind of talk about the specifics on this one. So OG Anunoby right now is averaging 15 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists, off 48% from the field, 37% from three. He is making $18.5 million. He has a player option for $19.5, but reports have come out saying that he really is not interested in making that $19.5. He's going to turn that down in lieu of free agency. He also fired his representation because he was frustrated with the offensive role he had in Toronto, and he's looking for a contract more in the ballpark of $40 million. Okay, I mean, everyone wants to get paid. I totally understand that. The thing is, OG is not a $40 million player. I know I don't have to tell you guys that. Look, if you're getting $40 million, what that says to me is you're the best, not the best, you're the third best option on a championship caliber team. And I don't think OG Anunoby can beat that, honestly. But who knows? We'll see. He did win a title in 2019, but I would say he was the fourth or fifth best player on that team. You know, they had Kyle Lowry, they had Pascal Siakam, and they had Kawhi Leonard. That's your top three for that team right there. But let's kind of talk about this. I know that he is 6'7", he has a 7'2" wingspan. He's a massive player, a really good defender too. He led the league in steals last season and made his first all-defense team last season as well. I still don't think he's going to find anything in the ballpark of $40 million. There are teams out there that do have cap space, including New York, who traded for them. And we're going to talk about the risks along with that here in a second. But there are teams out there that could be looming. I mean, the Utah Jazz are one of them. They will have cap space, though I think a lot of that is going to be allocated to Lauri Markkanen and renegotiating his contract. So you have teams like Orlando, the Pistons, the Pacers, OKC. OKC has a lot of cap space still. So there are teams out there that could definitely make a run at him, including New York, who traded for him. And, you know, New York now has 6 months to try to recruit him and sell him on staying there. And that was kind of the risk that they seemed willing to take. Now, like I said, he is a great defensive player. Like, he fits into the mold of Tibbs' teams really well. You know, if you don't play defense, like, you're not going to play for both Tibbs. Like, look no further than Kemba Walker. Let's see, Derrick Rose. He benched both of those guys when they played for him because they just weren't getting it done. They weren't playing the defense that he wanted them to play. That will not be an issue with OG Anunoby. He will play the defense that Tibbs is looking for. With that said, he is constantly billed as this 3-and-D specialist, but as I stated earlier, really, like, he's just above the average for 3-point shooting in the NBA, which the average is 36%. He shoots 37. This year, I think he's still shooting 37. I actually said that earlier, 37 from 3. Look, this guy is going to give you a lot more defense than he is floor spacing. So I think there's going to be a lot of added pressure really put on guys like Jalen Brunson. The paint is definitely going to be cleared up for Julius Randle now that RJ Barrett's gone. But I kind of feel like New York really overpaid on this one. I mean, Emmanuel quickly, he was making 4.2 million, but he was a runner-up for Sixth Man of the Year. When this kid was starting, he was averaging over 20 points a game and having, I think, above 5 assists. I did a video on him not too long ago with JD, and I talked about how I thought it was in New York's best interest to keep him, because one of the issues you have now in New York is, okay, well, offensively, we're taking a massive step back because we gave up Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett for a guy who is a defensive menace for sure, but really only is going to get you like 15 points per game. So that could change, especially because OG, like I stated, he's looking for a bigger offensive role on this team, but he's going to be at the mercy of Tibbs. We'll have to see what Tibbs is going to do with him. But Emmanuel Quickley was fantastic for them. So now New York has to kind of think to themselves, okay, well, who's going to be our lead guard coming off the bench? Like, is it going to be Josh Hart? He's more of an energy guy and a great rebound dude. Evan Fournier. I don't think New York is done, though. I really don't. I think that they have a couple more moves up their sleeve. And honestly, from the reports about Toronto, like they're actually shopping Siakam now to see what they can get. They're not interested in doing a full rebuild, but I mean, they have a great young core now, and we'll get to that in a second. I really do think that Precious Achiuwa is a sneaky good pickup, because they had Mitchell Robinson. He got hurt in New York, and Tibbs really doesn't like to adjust his system. He doesn't want to play small ball. He wants to go out there. He wants to beat you up on the floor. He wants to play good defense. Like he's that kind of coach, and that's a great thing. That's one of my favorite things about Tibbs. So, I mean, they had to blow the dust off of Taj Gibson, for Christ's sake, just so they could try to get some sort of center out there. I think Hartenstein's been pretty good for them. He's really been trying to fill that role since Jericho Sims and Mitchell Robinson, I believe, are both hurt. I know Mitchell's hurt. Mitchell Robinson is hurt. I think Jericho Sims is as well. In fact, I know he is, yeah. But, I think Precious Achiuwa is actually a sneaky good pickup. I think that he's going to come in and he's going to fill that role very well. And I think that New York fans are going to fall in love with this dude almost immediately. Malachi Flynn, he's going to give you – he was a former first-round pick. I mean, he's been pretty inconsistent, but he does give another guard option to New York, which is something they desperately need at the moment. I actually think that they should try to go after someone like maybe Jordan Clarkson, honestly, with like a protected first-round pick. He would be a great spark plug off the bench, replace the offensive production of Emmanuel Quickley. But let's talk about OG Anunoby as well. So he is eligible right now for an extension. 2 years at $40 million, but that is pretty much what he's making now. And from the reports, he's definitely not going to sign something like that. Now, June 30th, he is eligible for a 4-year, $117 million option. I also don't think he's going to go for that. He really seems to want to make that $40 million. I mean, who doesn't? But if your production isn't there, your production just isn't there. Like I said, I don't think that he is going to be worth that, because that kind of money should be allocated to someone who is a third option on the championship team. I don't believe that OG can do that. But let's kind of switch tracks here, and let's talk about the young core that's now in Toronto. Toronto has Scotty Barnes, who's going to be an all-star this year. Absolutely. They now have Emmanuel Quickley. And by the way, like, they were in desperate need of a point guard. And I'm going to be honest, like, that was kind of the piece that I was like, oh man, like, I knew they were going to try to trade quickly, because New York was unable to reach a settlement with him in terms of a contract extension. Like, he wanted a lot more. Like, New York just wasn't really willing to pay him what he was looking for. But if he goes over to Toronto and starts averaging like 22 and 5, kind of what he was when he was starting for New York is going to go really stupid. I thought they should have kept Emmanuel quickly. They should have worked it out. I think he's a better player than Rhymes. But you know what? He's going to be playing over in Canada now. And RJ Barrett is actually from Canada. And so it makes me wonder and ponder the question, like, are we going to see a new RJ Barrett now? Because there theoretically should be a lot of pressure off of him. I mean, he was third overall pick of his class. And there is a stigma when you are playing in New York, especially at the Garden. There's just a lot of pressure there. So we'll have to see what kind of player he's going to evolve into. Obviously, this is still Scottie Barnes' team. And the Raptors are looking to move off of Pascal Siakam for the right price. So we'll see kind of how all of that is going to unfold. But honestly, I don't know. I think the Knicks might have overpaid here, personally, especially since I thought the Knicks were in a very good position already. However, they didn't lose any first-round draft capital, but they lost RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly. So I personally feel like they lost this trade. Guys, tell me what you think. Thank you so much for watching. This is just a quick clip. There's going to be more coming out. We never normally get December trades, so I just wanted to cover this. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a happy new year. I am Doc D, and you are watching or listening to the Full Court Press Podcast. Take care.